Yep.
Really?
Almost spot on.
Yeah, wasn't too bad.
No, we're about half a second out.
It's all right. Let's give him his thing before he starts barking.
Oh, what are we having tonight?
A chicken foot.
Yeah.
I know.
Satan's claw.
Yeah. Good evening, Zeb.
Good evening, Zeb. And in case he's listening, Mick, we hope you're all right. We've just heard that there's been.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, jolly D, jolly D.
We've heard you've had a bit of a shake.
Yeah, a bit of shake, rattle, and roll up in Ferndale. Good evening, Pulsar.
Good evening, Pulsar. Pulsar, I've started listening to Tangerine Dream live.
Oh, Lord.
709 north. Good evening, Richard.
Good evening, Richard. 700 miles north. Doesn't matter. Apparently there's a tsunami warning in effect.
Oh, lovely.
And I'm hearing an echo. I can hear me on your microphone.
Oh, God. I've thought that I've got the tea towel there.
No, it's not that. It's picking me up from your speakers.
Oh. So I'll turn my speakers down a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Is that better?
I'll tell you in a moment. Yes, I don't hear myself. There we go.
Yeah. Because I was listening to music. Yeah, well, it's been a quiet week. I think it's that lead up to Christmas. People have got not much, lots of other things being on at the moment. So, yeah, we had 9 new subscribers this week. And,
well, welcome to the Madhouse.
Yes, and 5,838 views, which is pretty good. So, hello to everyone that's just come in. I'm not ignoring you all. So what have you been listening to? So straight in at number 3.
Zeb, that's already been done. It's already in the pipeline. Don't worry.
Black Sabbath. I've done Mike and the Mechanics. I've not done Mike Rutherford though. Yeah, bad Black Sabbath songs. 118 people watch that.
Mind you, there haven't been as many. I haven't seen complaints about that one.
No, Zeb said that Johnny Blaze is a classic. Yeah, classic rubbish.
Yeah.
At number 2, songs that should have been number 1s in the 80s when Richard and Simon and myself 194. But the top one is last week's Battle Royale Group H, 382. That's a shot. That's interesting. A shot top short. Probably not the best ZZ Top album, Afterburner, but 484 people watched it.
I like Afterburner.
It's not raining, and it's right against my windows.
Oh, deep joy. I had it earlier.
Yeah, it's not nice. Horrible.
In fact, that's what woke me up in the middle of the night to brain last night. I did not have a decent night's sleep. Anyway.
So, the last 28 days, 68 new subscribers. That's pretty decent. 24,313 views. What's been watched? At number 3, Frank Zappa from the 1980s.
Ooh.
206. At number 2, the Metallica album ranking 278. But this is the most that I think any of the collaborations I've done with Richard or Simon have done. There's 1980s 663 views.
Is that the should have been number 1?
In the 1980s, yeah.
Yes, because there were a lot of good songs that should have been number 1, but got held out by rubbish.
Yes. Top short. Still, Rock to Your Drop, side 2, 1,431.
Ooh.
Now, the big thing, we're now up to 2288 subs. So thank you very much for every single one of you. And we've had 524,382 views. Now, the top 5 has, and I reckon it's all to do with, there's 1 or 2 movements this week because I've redone the 2021 thumbnails. Noticed. So at number 5, down from last week's number 3, it's Mike Oldfield. 4254.
Ooh.
Still, we've got number 4. So he's gone down. Jethro Tull. 4,276. But up 2 places, Derek Riggs.
What?
He's gone back up to 4,284.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a surprise.
I changed the thumbnail a little bit. Yeah, I actually did the title in the same color as the Power Iron Maiden on the Seventh Son, the same colors.
Oh, right.
So that may have had something to do with it. Slade is still number 2 with 5,098, and Status Quo 9679. Top short as ever, and still another 20-odd people watched it. Part 6 now stands at 15,319. So I've been listening to a lot of stuff. I've sort of clearing up and getting ready for the Christmas break, as I say. So we've finished Seven Dust. We've finished the lovely eggs and the wedding present. They're all in the bag, ready to go. Good evening, Mike. Uwe Malmsteen, I've now done 16 of his 22. Crazy Horse without Mr. Young, 5 of 6. And I've started a new one. We have started Al Stewart, and I've done 3
of
the 16.
Ignore me, I'm fiddling around with stuff.
Thank you, Richard. I've come up with these wonderful colours and ideas. Yes. So so that's what I have been listening to other stuff. I mean, it's obvious what I'm also listening to. If I'm listening to Crazy Wars, of course, without Neil, so it's pretty obvious after Van Morrison who's coming next. Really,
Yes,
it's pretty obvious, and I have been listening to other stuff as well. So it's not like I've only been listening to them albums. There are quite a lot I have to listen to in the week that things going.
Plus, it's the number of parts. Van
Pulsar is a big fan of Al Stewart.
Very good. Excellent musician.
Excellent musician, excellent singer, songwriter, a good round egg.
Yes. Would he be a lovely egg? There we go. That's a nod for Mike.
Yes, Stewart. Yeah, somewhere in there, the Mark and the Mechanics have been done. I'm sure they have.
I will actually go and look and tell you that.
That's true, Davey. Al Stewart, Year of the Cat, Stevie. Yeah. It's easy done. Easy done. 2 very talented chaps. So are you gonna?
I have a funny feeling that you have already. I need to go and look in the listing. I need to go and search. I have a funny feeling you might have done.
I think I've done I've ranked the Mike and the Mechanics, but I haven't. I've listened to the Mike Rutherford because I've actually got one of his 2 albums. Good evening, Simon. Nice to see Davey's strange name in here.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's not that one. It's not that one.
His Majesty's spoken, which means he wants to go somewhere. You'll have to wait. You're wagging your tail at me, aren't you?
One, two, where is he? There we go. Mike and the Mechanics. You did the album ranking 1st of August 2022.
Cool. That's a long.
It is.
So, with the barking going
good
on,
evening, Jeff and Nancy Griffin. There's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Let's just have a quick look. I don't think Nancy is.
No. So, I think
I don't see her on the list. Okay.
It's time for Hatches, Matches, Dispatches, because someone I think needs the bathroom. or potentially down the hedge.
Dave gets these days. He gets Al Stewart mixed up with Stephen's cat. Pat Stevens.
They're very similar, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go and sort out his nibs.
Mm-hmm. And be quick, because you know there's not much to do.
Oh, no, there isn't.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Hatches, Matches, and Dispatches. As you will have gathered, there's not much this week. 3 dispatches, 10 plus 1 hatches, and 1 match. So, the first dispatch back on the 26th, we didn't know it at the last stream, but on the 26th, the body was discovered of Bob Dwyer, American alternative rock drummer with My Chemical Romance. The 29th saw the departure of Will Cullen Hart, American indie rock singer-songwriter and guitarist with the Olivia Tremor Control, also Circulatory System. He was a co-founder of Elephant. Iain has recently been listening to Olivia Tremor Control, so that struck a chord with him that band member is gone. And then on the 30th, Steve Alaimo, American singer. He was known for the song Every Day I Have to Cry. He's also a record producer and co-founded TK Records. So those are our dispatches. Like I said, not much. Hatches, the birthdays. Well, it's happy birthday today to Conan Gray, age 26. He's American singer-songwriter with Sunset Season and Super 8. 40 today is Lyra Lynn, American singer-songwriter. 42 today is Kerry Hilson, another American singer-songwriter. She's known for The Way I Are. And then we jump to 59, Johnny Resnick, American singer-songwriter and guitarist with Goo Goo Dolls. 64 today. Whenever I saw this, I thought, what? Les Neames, English rock bassist. Do you remember Haircut 100? After Haircut 100 broke up, Les went on to become a tour and recording session musician. And he has worked with the likes of Hugh Masekela, Chris Rea, Friends Again, China Crisis, and Rick Astley. And so long as he wasn't Rick Rowland, I'm happy. 71 today is John Molo, American rock and jazz drummer, famously with Bruce Hornsby in the Range. So happy birthday to him. 72 today is Bobby Barth, American rocker, vocalist, and guitarist with the band Axe. 77 today, we have 2. Jim Messina, American guitarist and songwriter, famously with Buffalo Springfield, Poco, Loggins, and Messina. And Rick Wills, British bass guitarist. He played with Peter Frampton Band from 1972 to 74. And then he was a member of Foreigner from 77 to 91. Granddaddy today is 78-year-old Spanish opera tenor Jose Carreras, famously of the three tenors. The +1 that we have is happy flying birthday to Eddie the Eagle Edwards, one of the last proper amateurs in Olympic sports.
I
Because
didn't know that.
it was after Eddie at I think it was Calgary. Was it Calgary? After that Winter Olympics, the IOC introduced the Eddie the Eagle rule. In other words, you have to be in the top 30 worldwide or the top 50, depending on what your sport, what the classifications are. So Eddie wouldn't have qualified if they'd had those rules in the first place, which also means people like Eric the Eel wouldn't qualify, which I think takes away from the Olympics, because the Olympics used to be the amateur sportsman. Now it's all about professionalism. I think that takes away some of it. Anyway, enough of a rant. The matches. There's only one notable marriage today. Back in 2003, Chris Martin, lead vocalist with Coldplay, married actress and singer Gwyneth Paltrow. I didn't know she was a singer.
No, I didn't.
But anyway, neither did I. And that marriage lasted until they got divorced in 2016. So there's your hatches, matches, and dispatches. The talking point subject, and it's a difficult one this week. Transitions. Find two songs on an album that transition or flow into each other. I immediately popped up with one. I said, right, my only contribution is Chris Rea, The Road to Hell, Part 1 and Part 2. Because it rolls one straight into the other. So that's immediately that taken off the table. Haha, sorry. Don't need to save that. Okay. What are you going to do next week? You doing much?
I'm not doing much. Yeah, next week's actually the second from last full week.
Shall we have a look?
We'll have a look.
All right. There you go.
Okay, so what are we going to be doing next week? Well, on Monday, a busy old day, as you can see.
Oh, before you go on, well done, Zeb. He's got the cage by Genesis.
It is. There is it transitions from cocoon into in the cage. We're going to have a look at Van Morrison's 60s albums. There was only 2, but they were very good. Then we've got A Perfect Side, and we're going to do an album that's one of my favourite sort of synth pop albums. There, by the Human League. And then, round about tea time.
Yeah, because we've got to do our numbers around about 4 o'clock-ish, so probably just after that or just before it.
Yes, we have got to do the second round draw. So with our special guest, Mike, diving into the ball day.
Evening, Christopher.
Yes, so that's coming up. Yeah, We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions. Yeah, that was an obvious one as well. So what's happening on Tuesday?
I don't know.
Another busy old day. We're kicking off with a birthday top 10 of Daniel. Now, Daniel is Hugh Scott's other cousin. We've got a top 10 from the 10th of December, 1986. And then we are going to be ranking the albums of Nick Turner, of course, from Hawkwind. And I thought, what pictures shall I use? And I thought, I'll put one of them in his later years because he still looked a grand chap with his hat. I love that picture of him. I think he was, innocent unit. I've sort of noted that, Zeb. Don't worry. I haven't told Dave yet, but it is on a bit of paper.
It's being added now.
Yes, it's been handy now. So yeah, and then retro ranking. We now and again we like to look at composers and film score. So we're going to look at the lovely work of Mr. Hans Zimmer. And there are now, and I will include some of his collaborations that he's worked on, because you can't have them not do a Hans Zimmer without putting certain music in. It wouldn't be right.
Yes.
Yeah, Zeb's always on the ball. He keeps me on my ball as well. Wednesday, we got another Christmas dozen. Now, I've never heard of this band, to be quite honest, and they're called Iced Earth, an American rock band. Oh, I think his solo ones, it's about 8 or 9. Something, don't quote me on that, because there's so many compilations and so many collaborations. I just look for when it says Nick Turner solo stuff. Right, Abigail Rocket Blast, stop it. We don't do anything that here. If you want to put comments like there, you know where you put them, which channel, but not on this one. All right? There's your warning.
That's the only warning to everybody.
Yes, just cut out the crap, all right? If you come in here, come for what it is, music. I don't do nonsense or toxicity or anything. I don't do that. But there are channels, if you like that, there are channels that suit you down to the ground, but not this one. Anyway, let's get back to the music. So Iced Earth was interesting because I'd never listened to any of their stuff, and I really enjoyed having a bash at that one. So on Thursday, we'll have round of 16 Taiwan, and as we don't know who it is, I found these quite cute. Well, these are actually part of some of my old new thumbnails, and I thought I like them emojis, so I threw them on just because I can.
Oh no!
I know. Okay, then we're going to take a one.
In reality, you can't, because we don't know who's going to be in tie number 1.
No, not yet. So we'll have to put something up there. And then we've got A Wander Down the Sidewalk. And it's the US top 10 of December the 12th, 1974.
You know what? That's the last one of the year as well.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, because 2 weeks later would be Boxing Day, which is no. Well, feet up in front of. Well, you'll be feet up in front of the telly. I will be up at my sister's cooking, because that's whenever we do our Christmas.
So that takes us to Friday, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a Bachman Turner Overdrive and their live albums, Let's Rock, and a one-off album. Now, this album, I come across it on Spotify. I was looking for something else, and this album cover come up. I thought, oh, I like that. We'll add that to the wish list. And I had a listen to it, and it's pretty damn good. So I'm going to do an album review of it.
Okay.
So there we go.
It's all right, Nick. Get well soon. Hope it's just the flu.
Yes. Get well soon, mate. But I'm sure he'll be in there tonight adding his wonderful comments.
Yeah.
So let's move that out of the way and go back to us. So there we go.
Okay. Do you want to pull that from...
I have.
From underneath. No, from underneath. To make a bit of room. There we go. There we go. Yeah, because I don't want to be clicking on the wrong thing. Abigail, this isn't about singing. Right. Excuse me while I have a look at this.
Yeah, that's how I think it's way too early. It's the but don't worry, there may be something happening you don't know. It's not COVID. That's good news.
Bye-bye, James Rennie. And bye-bye, Abigail's Rocket Blast or whatever it was.
Yes, we don't have that in here.
No.
There we go. Happy days.
Thank you. Thank you. You do it in one, I do it in the other.
Yes.
And if you,
I'm
you
working my
don't
way
know
up.
what yeah.
I'm working my way up, as they say. There we go.
Excellent.
There we go. Yeah, the link's up for those that like to come up and do their
do decent things.
Do decent things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have none of that. There's a sort of a gentleman's agreement about that. So
yeah. Don't do it here. In fact, let me minimize that, because I was actually looking at something the other day, and I need to tell it to go to that, and then come back here.
I like it when he does this. It's something that's going to appear any second now.
Window, and it's that one, and we go this. Rocky's House Rules. Do you remember these?
Yeah.
The live stream etiquette. Be mindful of others in the channel. Community is more than those you see on camera. It includes those in the chat who are watching the stream live and those who watch the video later. Please remember the live stream is being broadcast live. It's not, a fudge. There's no delay on it. So any attempt to promote, share, discuss, or attempt to encourage illegal or immoral activities or anything prohibited by YouTube, the community guidelines, terms of service will result in immediate removal from the channel, permanent ban. The first thing on this is this one. Don't troll, go somewhere else. The next one is no politics, no homophobia, no racism, no religious discussion, no sexual discrimination or gratification, no national, ethnic slurs or insults. So all you who come in and throw mud here, there and everywhere at various people, no, we don't like it. We don't want you to do it. Stop it, please. And then there's the usual things. Think before you speak. Respect other people's viewpoint. Your viewpoint is not the only one that matters. In fact, there are two viewpoints that matter on this channel. That's Iain and Rocky. Attempts to incite or promote unwarranted argument within the live stream, either on camera or in chat, will get a 5-minute timeout. Persistent violations will result in a permanent ban. Anyone who creates a channel just to throw mud or makes slurs, you're going to get banned straight away. And if you're eating or drinking while on stream, mute your mic, please. We don't want to hear you. Anyway.
Yeah. Nick, yeah, you can, no, bad mouthing prog's allowed.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the same without you bad mouthing prog, so there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, what's the beard? Jump Richard.
It's called Jump.
Oh, right, it's called Jump. All right. I was thinking it's called Jump Richard.
No, it's called Jump. It's quite nice.
Yeah. Yeah, if Nick can badmouth prog, I can badmouth. Dare I say it?
Go on.
Punk.
Ooh. Oh, that's a belter.
That is good. That is a good one.
Nice one, Dave.
that sort of mudslinging, yes, that's tolerated.
We like that sort of fun.
Yes.
It's not aimed. That's basically aimed at himself.
Yeah, but it's also the sort of thing that you and I and a lot of British viewers would have grown up with. Morecambe and Wise, the two Ronnies. It's that style of humour.
Yeah.
Bloody brilliant.
Yeah,
Pulsar likes both prog and punk. Yeah.
I like both as well.
Yeah.
As you can see, since the video this morning.
Oh, did you fall in front of a lawnmower?
Oh, status quo.
Oh no. Quo and Marillion are fair targets.
Yeah, my favourite bands. So yeah, so I went out of my ears lowered today as well. Yeah, do you want to tell them? I know we did the video, the review, and we did announce the Group H winners.
Yeah, what that was more for those who aren't watching tonight.
Yeah, so do you want to tell them who's gone through, who went into the who's now gone into Mike's?
Okay, and in that case, I need to do this. Blink. It's a tie. 13 votes apiece for The Who and New Order. Roxy Music, Virginia Plain, and Dexys. Oh, only one vote, but that's more than Bill Haley got.
Yes.
So, purely out of interest and to sort something out, we go to the analytics to show you that this orange line here, which is New Order, they got to 13 first. The Who got to 13 second. So New Order will qualify in first place and The Who will qualify in second. Bum.
It's time to add Japan.
Oh.
Well, not all of it. A small little bit of it.
Ohio gozaimasu.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm going to answer Zeb's question. Am I getting the Marillion? Of course I am. Why wouldn't I?
That's if he can afford it.
Well, I've enjoyed all the box sets they bring out. So, yeah, why not? And I haven't got it on CD anymore. I will get it. So
I presume you're going to get the vinyl version.
No, I'll get this. It comes in a nice CD box. You get remixes, you get a documentary, and you usually get some sort of live gig from it and all that sort of good stuff, and a surround sound version of it. I'm just a schmuck for things like that.
You're just a what?
Schmuck.
Good pronunciation.
Yeah. Pulsar sends greetings.
Thank you, Pulsar.
Yes,
how's your week been?
My week, great. Absolutely great. I had a fantastic day yesterday. I conducted 2 interviews.
All right.
First with a fellow named Andy, who's an Indonesian who runs a place called Substore in Kawenji, and it's a cafe and a record store. And he's been in Tokyo for 16 years, and he's one of very few foreigners who run businesses here. And he's in the music business. And Mikano, a craft work expert who also spoke on camera in both English and Japanese. So I just did my first real interviews for my channel yesterday. Big step for me. I'm really excited.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
Yes. And as ever, we enjoyed watching your latest episode last week. It was fantastic as ever, and it's everything that we always get to look forward to.
Good evening.
Hi, Mike.
Good evening, Mike.
Right.
And we've got your presentation.
Oh, good.
For you.
Good. Thank you.
Can't. When we put it up, we were sitting there trying to work out what you're going to say because
I know. But at least they were familiar things. And I got into that. Yeah. I got a new laptop this week, so I think later I'm going to try. I'm going to use the camera for it because I use my phone. But I might be able to. You might be able to give me sharing permission, and then I can show it myself in the future. You know what I mean?
Yes. We'll sort that
We'll work that out. A detail. We'll transition into that.
Anyway,
it's got the wrong logo.
What does the laptop? Oh, Dave, are you a PC guy? Oh, yeah, you're a corporate. Yeah. You're a government corporate guy. So yeah, they only issue PCs in that way. Linux. Are you a Linux guy, Dave?
Anyway.
I wish I had been, but no, I would. There was another system that one keystroke could delete everything. A really powerful programming language.
Oh,
we had to go on a course, and the first 5 days were do this, do this, do this. Do not touch that combination of keys. And it was just 3 keys. And quite happily, we went through the week, and then we came in the following Monday morning. Right. First thing to do, press these 3 keys. Which we all did because we followed the instructions. Do none of you listen? I told you last week, do not touch those 3 keys. Luckily, he was able to reverse what we'd done. And right, okay, continued the lesson. But it was literally a lesson in pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Richard can program his coffee pot.
That's more important than programming your computer, making sure you get your coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, programmable coffee pot. Yeah. What's the world coming to?
Anyway.
Well, the thing is, you can now get your coffee pot, your fridge, and whatever to create a shopping list on your phone for you.
Wow.
So that when you go to the store, you've got your shopping list in your hand.
I just rely on my wife. She texts me when I'm at the store, and that's when I know to buy.
This is I have a little note. I have a little notepad thing, and I filled out all the things I usually order, and every time, tick the box, and it disappears off the shopping list. It hides itself, and then whenever I'm done, clear everything, ready for the next shop.
All right,
it's great.
You see, I've embraced technology. I had it so she can't be mentioned. And when I go around the supermarket, I get my phone out, go to me she can't be mentioned app, and there's my shopping list.
Yeah. Similar thing.
All right. Right, okay.
Because I always forget things. I used to forget things.
Oh, yes.
I know,
yes.
I know. But, yeah.
Did you get the note?
I use an old envelope and a pen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Revolutionary, eh?
You're bleeding prehistoric, Mike.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I'm proud of
it. There we go. Richard would like his fridge to go to the storefront.
Yeah, well, that'd be interesting. It saves going. Anyway, these transition records was a struggle.
Yeah. It was. So amorphous, you know. It's funny because, my former home was San Francisco, and they name their stores the dumbest things. And I was thinking, every time you walk into a shopping mall and there's a new business on the street, it's typically called something like Transitions, a place for hair, or.
Yeah.
I literally had to go through every record that I own, just looking. And then picking and this and go, no, that doesn't work. But I did find 10 eventually.
Yeah,
and I found number 10.
It was difficult. I use a different technique, so to come to that.
Yeah, I got number 10 at about 6:30 this evening.
Yeah, and even then, I'm arguing that really it's only about 8.5.
Yeah, there's some dubious ones here.
There's a couple of dodgy ones.
Yeah, so, Mr. Producer.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to go first?
I'm going to go first.
Okay.
You're biting the bullet.
I'm biting the bullet.
Hang on. You can't be good old pen and paper. Caxton printing press.
Exactly.
The John Ball printing set.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ian, before you go first, okay.
Okay,
No.
no, go on.
No.
I want to grab a cup of coffee. I want to just give me 20 seconds to grab a cup of coffee. Just refill my
I'll
cup.
go and grab a cup of coffee.
You can
There's
do it. You guys
more-
can talk. I know you can come up with a topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Wow.
can debate the merits of taking the Caxton
Only
printing
20
press.
seconds needed to get a cup of coffee. It must be one of those programmable ones, wasn't it?
Yes,
We can
go
debate
on
the merits
printing.
of taking the Caxton printing press to the shop with you.
Yeah.
Or making your list for your John Bull. Everyone had a John Bull printing.
Yeah.
thing for
Or
Christmas.
you could hire a monk, couldn't you, to sort of
Inscribe
inscribe.
Oh,
Or
yes.
chant your shopping list as you're walking.
Thank you very much for indulging me.
Okay, no problem. You know we could do it.
Thank you.
And
So,
you beat the countdown. Just.
Good. Told you it's a small place.
so here we go.
So, there you go.
So this was a tough old one, but first one I come up was from 1983's Mike Oldfield album Crises. Now on side 2, there's a little track called Taurus 3, and it goes and then it just stops for about a microsecond, and it goes into shadow on the wall, and it's it's not a flowing transition. It's just stop start like that. And that's the only thing I could come up with. Good evening, Andy. So that was my first one. This you got the foreign affair sort of stops and then goes into this thing. So, yeah. Okay. 1975's Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. Do you call this a transition? At the end of Shine On Your Crazy Diamond Parts 1 to 5, you get a lift and a lift, and it goes into Welcome to the Machines. So that one's a little bit iffy, but it's a transition, and it's not because it's going up in a lift.
Yeah. Yeah, that counts, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so as well. I'm glad it did. I mean, you could say on the other side, you've got the transition from Have a Cigar to Wish You Were Here with the radio as well. So that's a double bubble, I think. I'm going to put that down as a double bubble. Up next, a bit of Iron Maiden. And the first track on here is a thing called Ides of March. It's a little instrumental thing. It's pretty cool. And it goes straight into Rothschild. Does it count? It may not, but in my books it does, because it sort of slows and then goes straight back into Rothschild.
It's all open to interpretation.
It's open to interpretation, exactly, Michael. He may be poorly, but boy, is he coming out.
I know. Yeah.
Now this when this came
Nick
out,
and Prompt just don't mix, do they?
yeah. Now this one was the one that first come up in my brains without looking. From 70, I think it's 73. This one, my favourite ZZ Top album, Tres Ombre, and the first 2 tracks we've got Waiting for a Bus. And that goes lovely into Jesus Just Left Chicago and is bound for New Orleans. You can't have one without other, I'm afraid. It doesn't sound right. So that comes straight out the easy one. The next one comes from 1975's Come Taste the Band, the Deep Purple album with Tommy Bowling on it. And on side 2, there's a lovely little track written by Glenn Hughes and John Lord called This Time Around. It's a wonderful little track. And that goes into a little instrumental written by Tommy Bowling called Ode to G. It just flows in very well, and one of the highlights on this album. It gets a lot of poo-pooed on because it's got Tommy Bowling. What?
It gets a lot of guff, that record.
Yes, it does. I like it. Jesus left Chicago because of all the crime. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Bit of Van Halen from the debut album. Now, I was having a debate about, is Eruption a song or is it just an Eddie Van Halen virtuoso? For me, it's a virtuoso, but it goes lovely into the Kinks. You Really Got Me there, Van Halen's version of that. So that one's a debatable one, but when you're really hard for pushing for inspiration, you have to bring out that. So then I went into Status Quo. Now I could have picked Come Rock With Me Rocking On, but I showed that album the other week. So I went, what this album, it's from 1981, It's Never Too Late, the last album that John Cogman played on. And on side 2, there are 3 songs that sort of flow into each other. Mountain Lady, Don't Stop Me Now, When Enough Is Enough. Yes, Michael, you can when you see Michael's face.
Well, just looking at that, I'm trying to understand what he's doing with that rocket. Is he stabbing the earth with it?
It's catching it. It's never too late. Now, on the cover, just supposing, the rocket is going up into the air. So this is the follow-up cover with him grabbing it. It's got, and I like the back cover. It's the Status Quo, all done in beards. Okay, up next, 1987, Marillion's Clutching at Straws. Now, the first 3 tracks, it's a mini concept in itself. You get Hotel Hobbies, you get Warm Wet Circles, and That Time of the Night beautifully flowed into each other. Fish at his finest, and I had to show that. So that is the thing. And my final one is probably it's my least favorite Genesis album, but there are 3 tracks on there that I do like. One being Abacab, and the other 2 is Dodo Lurker, which is absolutely brilliant.
No, go on, finish doing your Genesis, but stop reading. You do finish doing Genesis.
Yeah, I mean, the other one I could have had was Cuckoo Cocoon into In the Cage, but I put the lyrics up that Zeb got. So, yeah, this is not my favourite Genesis album. It's not my favourite Genesis cover either.
No, I hate the cover.
I hate the cover, and apart from probably Abacab, Lurker, and Dodo, the rest is...
Yeah.
And it's got the Awful Whodunit on it as well, and that is...
Yeah, I'd done with Genesis by that point.
Yeah,
quite honestly.
Yeah, I do like Dodo and Lurker though, because
Yeah.
they sound quite proggy.
But let's get back to Richard. So, yes, the perfect transition, future legend into Diamond Dog.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. Prologue into Twilight, Funeral for a Friend into Love Lies Bleeding, Brain
Yeah, that's a
Damage.
good one.
Yeah, nice ones, nice picks, but definitely the first one. Yes.
Yeah, I think the Elton John one is really good as well.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Talking of that, I found a clip of Metallica doing Funeral of a Friend and Love Lies Bleeding. It was it was a show for Bernie and Elton, and they went to, there was Bernie and Elton, and Elton was really rocking out to a bit of Metallica.
All right.
He does. He does enjoy other bands playing his music whenever it's done right.
Yeah.
There are some that he can't listen to.
Did you say that poor old Elton has lost his eyesight?
I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't even see the stage show.
That's right. Yeah.
But hopefully he will recover. Hopefully from that.
Hopefully,
I don't
Yeah,
think it's permanent.
yeah, that's a good as well.
Yeah.
And cinema show into Isle of Plenty.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are.
And in the rap, it's an it.
This is it. That's, yeah.
Having seen that one from Zeb, have a look at this one. ABBA crap. Half is pretty good. Also, the B sides of their single.
Yeah, there was a caption on the Genesis page of you've got Tony, Phil, and Mike listening to sort of thing, and Sunday's put a caption, and I put they're all listening to PG3 and thinking this is a better album than this shit. And I got a like from Mike Rutherford.
Excellent.
Right. There you go. There's what you should have picked up on. Nectar.
Yeah, I've not got it as an album anymore.
It's it's a lovely album. I really like the cover of that album as well.
Yeah.
For some reason, it really appeals to me.
Yeah. So that was very hard, and I hope the wheels kind.
Hard and dubious.
No,
Yeah.
you did.
I mean,
you did a good job, mate. You did a good job.
Yeah, I could have gone for all Genesis, but that'd be defeating.
Boring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
boring. They were the top.
Defeating
That's
the
why I
ultimate
went for the
exercise.
most obvious Genesis one. I can't remember the last time I put that album on.
Which one? Abacab?
Yeah.
Probably never. Years.
Yeah, it's been years, yeah. Because if I listen to Abacab or Dodo and Lurker, it's usually on 3 Sides Live. Which are the better versions. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's be interesting. Anyway, I reckon, Michael, you should go because we want to see what this.
Okay. I'm happy to go.
Yeah, I heard there was a PowerPoint in the offing.
Yeah, that's PowerPoint.
Wait.
Can we start with the slides first?
So that one.
There we go. Yeah. Okay. So I looked.
Do you want it full screen or as is?
As this is fine.
Okay.
So I looked up on Wikipedia, about the spacing between songs on a traditional record. Typically 2 to 5 seconds. That's a hard spacer on record albums. And I think this album is from 1967, and it's Alice's Restaurant by Arlo Guthrie. And the side, he doesn't go into track listings within the Alice's Restaurant Massacre. He tells the whole thing, and so he tells a story and he breaks into song, and there's no spaces between the story and the song. And so I just reasoned that is a transition, it's a record album full of transitions, and he just, he's telling the story about the garbage. Do you guys know this record? Was it at all popular in the UK?
I've got the song. I think it's really nice. So what was it recorded live? Is that what it is, or is it in the studio?
I believe so. I believe he does it in front of a live audience. They recorded because there's laughter.
Yes, there is, isn't there? Yeah.
He has banter between himself and the audience, and it's about throwing out garbage on Thanksgiving Day. Alice and her husband live above a church, and they accumulated a lot of garbage, and they decided to do the couple a favor. And they toss, and the dump was closed, so they take the garbage and they toss it off the cliff. And the next thing they know, the cops have arrived, and they're out there, and they've photographed everything, and they're putting tags. And he gets into all the detail about what the tags do. They tag each bag of garbage, and then it becomes like a bit of confusion, and he gets out from under the trouble, and they have Thanksgiving. And he's always breaking into, you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. And he's singing that song. So that's my example of a full record side with lots of transitions. So for me, that's kind of like a seminal one. But of course, lots of comedy guys do this. I mean, it's that's what I mean about this transitions thing. It's how you're going to posit it. Posit, P-O-S-I-T.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm positing it.
Yeah,
and I don't own the record anymore, so
You're dead right. You're dead right. Brilliant. Yeah,
Thank you.
I really appreciate you showing that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's another example of like that, Michael, on Roger Waters' Radio Chaos. There's music, but you've got the radio announce Jim Ladd doing the radio announcements in between the songs. So that album flows very similar to this. This is a good album. I haven't got it, but I have heard it, and it's a lovely listen. I think this album.
It's a great cover with him shirtless with that
Yeah,
napkin kind of like taped onto his top. Okay, next slide.
There's a question from David. Does everyone knows Overture Shooting Stars?
No.
Okay. Next slide.
Okay. Dunk.
Okay, so here's your, we said Prague. This is your, I'm going to pick the side with Nous sommes du soleil, where it's one track and it's kind of like a build-up, but it is one big track where he's getting into Nous sommes du soleil. We love when we play, and for me, if you're going to take, so where this breaks the rule is this is a single track record. So you can say, okay, Michael, bullshit, not wrong. But for me, if you're going to look at a side of a record where you really do have to delineate, and there's another example I'm going to give you because I think that this one just said Nous sommes du soleil, but there's another example where I'm going to show you where they do it differently, but it's the same thing. So Tales from Topographic Oceans.
Yeah. Yeah, that's excellent. You know that album, when it came out, I really didn't care for it very much. But
really,
over the years, it's one of my favorite. Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate it a lot. I stopped at Relayer. I thought Relayer was just as good as this. It explored different things like Gates of Delirium. But I think after Relayer, I think Tormato came out, and that was it for me. I shut the door on them. I didn't listen to them anymore.
That was the point with me, and it was a crap album cover as well.
Oh yeah, I agree.
After all 100%. The others, it was just, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, this album, excellent.
Okay, next. Okay, so here's a song. It's a little bit different, okay? This is a record. There was only one good song on this record, and it's never been played live. I don't know why. It was written by Joe Walsh and Joe Vitale. Joe Vitale is a drummer, and this is a song where the rhythm section is really, really strong when you hear it. It's got the guitar and the rhythm, and it's so fast paced. And what happens in this track is that Vitale takes over in the second half of the song, and he's driving it. The drummer's driving the song, and for me, it is. I mean, I one of these days, if I see it in 100 yen bin, I'll buy it just for this song. But I mean, I don't really like Joe Walsh at all. I'm sorry. But this particular song, At the Station, is for me, is such an adrenaline driving song. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but I recommend you listen to it.
You know what, Michael? I've got the album and I can't place the song at all. I can't place it at all. I mean, for me, it's just, life's been good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the song that everybody knows, isn't it?
Are you familiar with the song, Iain, At the Station?
Yeah. I like it. I've heard, but as Mike said, it's life's been good because they do that on that Live Eagles album, and I think Glenn Frey says the next president of the United States, Mr. Joe Walsh, because Joe was going to run as an independent, wasn't he? So, yeah, it's an album that I need to go and revisit.
It's the song I recommend you guys give it a listen to. I think you'll really like it. Okay.
Yeah, I like that because you've used transition in a different way. I like that.
Thank you.
That bonus point.
Thank you. Next slide. Okay.
Ooh. All right. Yeah.
Supper's ready. Supper's ready. Yeah. This for me is the quintessential story of transitions. And what I did here is I pulled out, here are your tracks, right? Lover's Leap, The Guaranteed Eternal Sanctuary Man, How Dare I Be So Beautiful, Willow Farm, Apocalypse in 9/8, and As Sure as Eggs, Aching Feet. That is how they divided up the record. Only one track, I think, Willow Farm, is he uses the title in the track. I don't think and Guaranteed Eternal Sanctuary Man. Only those two elements of text did he use in the lyrics of the songs. And that's the only way to know that he's broken it up. I mean, you know the lyrics because you can follow the lyrics, right? But the only way you know there's a change in a track is he tells you with his major sections, and then you have the subs, because that goes into it goes 7, but then there's 7 A, B, C, D, and E, and he delineates each thing in Supper's Ready, and of course it's about a dream that he has, and it morphs into the end of the world. And for me, I mean, the finale of Supper's Ready is incredible, and it's just people say it's one of the greatest prog pieces in the history of prog, and some people do agree about that. I do.
I do as well. Yeah.
I'm saying nothing because I didn't recognize it. It's that long since I've seen it. I didn't recognize that.
The interior spread of the jacket.
Yeah.
I do like the transition into Willow Farm.
Yeah.
That's one of them parts in that where you get the flower.
Yeah. That's right, but also I think that sort of you've got this very sort of like almost sort of symphonic, sort of very gentle sort of flowing music, and then you go into Willow Farm and it's a real sort of jolt, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Too much trouble, mate.
And we could get into trouble.
Yeah.
As much as I'd love to do it, we could get into lots of trouble.
What do you mean? What do you mean, the clips?
Showing clips of songs.
Nick
that's why I'm just
doing
still photos. Yeah,
of songs transitioning, and then B agrees, but we would run into the terms of service.
Is there another slide after this? I can't remember.
You know what?
Okay, all right. Do you know who this guy is?
That's Andy Edwards.
Yeah.
So he's got 44,000 subscribers, and he's from Great Britain. And he thinks that "Where's the True Star" is a fantastic record. What do you guys think about that?
I don't mind it. I think
I listened to it, a couple of weeks ago, Michael.
I know.
And I tried very, very hard. But Andy Edwards does a lot of things that are great. And I'll leave it at that.
Good.
I think I ranked it quite high.
But wasn't Andy a music teacher? I seem to recall. Yeah.
I mean, they do say that art and beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yes.
For me, music is in the ear of the listener.
Absolutely.
Different strokes for different folks.
Exactly.
So let's go to the next slide, because this ties into Mike's impression of it. Okay. This album was produced, engineered, and largely performed by Rundgren alone. He envisioned it as a hallucinogenic-inspired flight plan, with all of the tracks segueing seamlessly into each other, starting with a chaotic mood and ending with a medley of his favorite soul songs. No singles were issued from the album, as he wanted the tracks to be heard in the context of the LP. With 19 tracks, it's nearly 56 minutes runtime, which made it one of the longest single disc LPs to date. Well, whenever that was, it's probably out of Rolling Stone or something, but it was 56 minutes, so maybe it is the longest one. He really made the dead wax so tiny. So that's exactly Mike's impression. That's why I wanted to show this one, because Mike's negative impression is exactly the intention of the record. It's a cacophony. You see that?
I understand that, but this idea that all the tracks segue in seamlessly into each other, I thought it was quite disjointed in many ways as an album, and that kind of detracted from it. There were some good passages on it, but some of it just didn't work, and I think I think the medley is a bit of a mess. But then that's just me, But yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting to read that.
Yeah.
But what do I know, eh?
Yeah.
What do I know?
Yeah, and I'm not making.
Yeah, leave it to the experts.
I just when I read this, I was like, oh, this is brilliant. His intention was exactly Mike's feedback. So there you go. And I think that's it. Yeah, go on.
No, there is one more, but
okay.
At the same time, you said 2 to 5 seconds was supposedly the perfect break.
That is the industry standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that case, how could you describe John Cage? That piece of music that's supposed to last 100 years. One note every whatever it is. That's going totally the opposite. If you want the longest single disc LP, record John Cage. It's going to take you 100 years to play the damn thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, you have one more slide, which is
okay. This is McDonald and Giles, Birdman, and the printing on the inside of the jacket is almost illegible. So I found something that it is again like Supper's Ready, Birdman. Even though they call out these tracks, they don't exist on the song. It is a 21-minute song that goes into these passages, and there is no delineation between the sections of it. And I was surprised because it was written in 1968. I didn't know that. It's so ahead of its time. I thoroughly, if you're a King Crimson fan and you don't know the McDonald and Giles record, give it a listen, especially side 2, Birdman. It is marvelous. I put it very high up there. I don't like King Crimson all that much because they change their styles just too much with their change of personnel, and bands like that just, they're constantly reinventing themselves, and there are a lot of messy experiments along the way. But these guys had one record. It was a masterpiece, and I recommend it.
Right.
Yes, I shall give that, and I'll do it as a one-off. Was it just a one-off album?
Yes.
Oh, that fits perfect then, doesn't it?
Good.
To the one-off
Good.
album review. Yes,
Good.
I will have a listen to that.
Yeah.
So if you bring me back to camera, I'll just show these last ones to finish out my 10.
Yeah.
And here you go. Adam Hart Mother, the side 1 masterpiece. They're not proud of this record. I love it. In fact, it's the only one of few Pink Floyd records I love and have.
It's a great album.
And that is Adam Hart Mother. And they break it up: Father Shout, Breast Milky, Monkey 4, blah blah blah. But one track with transitions and passages, 1-1. This is an example of a great transition. The last track on the song, it is called it transitions from Cherokee, which is a hard driving song, to We Are Not Helpless. And I just noticed that it's like a gospel song, and the singers that finish out the song are Rita Coolidge, Claudia Lanier, John Sebastian, Mama Cass Elliott, David Crosby, Graham Nash, and I just named a few of them. It is one of the most beautiful gospel passages on a record that I own, and I just love. We Are Not Helpless with an orchestra. If you get a chance, listen to that track. Here you go. A record side 1. There's no spaces on this, right? Show Me, Poison Arrow, Many Happy Returns. Boom, 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 boom. No spaces between the songs. So there you go. There's an example of just a record where, there's just no space, so it transitions by default. And lastly, here you go, right?
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole thing tells the story, Babic and Lee, right? In
Yeah.
fact, the way that they show the record, I love this. Look at this. He just tells the story, right?
Yeah.
Side 1, side 2 about the murder and the trial.
Yes.
And comes with a newspaper.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's it. That's
Oh,
it.
that was absolutely fascinating. As
Thank
ever.
you.
Oh, that
Well
was,
done.
that was great. I really enjoyed that, Michael. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because
you talk about Michael. It just on songs like that. You go to the Yes album. I mean, Starship Trooper. Again, it's a continuous song, but it's
Yeah.
was it
Yeah.
Life Seeker, Delusion, and Worm, and then you start off. I've seen all the good people, and that's
Yeah.
the difference. That has got Your Move and All the Good
Yeah.
People,
Yeah.
which has got that transformation. So yes, we're quite good at doing that all through there. I mean, I think Close to the Edge is like that as well, although that's continuous. It is broken up, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I mean, Close to the Edge itself is it 3 parts?
3 or
Is it
4
what?
parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me check.
Close to the Edge is the track. Is
Yeah,
it 3 parts? Can't remember that again
yeah,
now.
but again,
I have it.
that flows, doesn't it? It's a flower.
Isn't it? Well, yeah, because Close to the Edge, Total Mass Retain, I Get Up, I Get Down, Seasons of Man. Close to the Edge is the track. Is it listed as the track only? Let me just see that.
Yeah, Seb's just come up. Seb's.
Yeah.
there you go. Summertime
Yeah. So
Change.
it's four parts. That's it. Yeah. Well done, Zeb. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's got Siberian Katra on the side, so there's a space between those two. Listen to us getting so geeky and nerdy about these records.
I know.
Would you like two obvious perfect transition albums?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oxygen, Equinox,
Yes.
Jean-Michel Jarre. They seamlessly flow track into track into track into track. And I would go so far as this, instead of just Oxygen Trilogy, the whole lot. Is it 21 tracks?
They do seem to flow, don't they?
They do.
It's like Magnetic Fields Part 1. It takes up all the side of side 1, and that's another one of them that sort of it's just down as one, but it's got little segments that transition into things. I mean, there's trains, there's ping pong balls. It's just. I mean, Mike Oldfield's Amwalk, that is one continuous piece of music, but it is transitional as well. Platinum is another Mike Oldfield. That's split into 4, and that flows.
But a lot of a lot of prog sort of follows sort of classical music line, doesn't it? Where sort of a symphony is broken up into movements.
Yeah.
And a lot of prog is like that, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They go back and they take. I mean, we have a thing that's coming up later in the year, and I was actually looking for an album that I could speak 3 things about. And I went and I looked, I thought, I've got to do this. It's got to be an Irish band. So I've chosen an Irish band, and I went and I looked and I found an album which tells a story.
Oh.
And it's a rock album that's telling a story. It's absolutely brilliant. I thought, right. It could qualify as a transition album.
Yeah.
Because you've got the various stages of it's a piece of Irish folklore, and it's a long tail, and this thing just segues all the way through.
Yeah.
I might keep that for another day, but anyway.
Anyway,
Richard, this is a heavily heavily prog dominant with a few neat twists. Yeah.
Yes. I'm going to address that, Richard.
And then both ours come out with Beatles' Sun King into Mean
Oh,
Mr.
yes.
Mustard into Polly
Absolutely.
Yeah.
and she came into
Yeah.
the bedroom.
And of course, there's a transition into A Day in the Life on Sergeant Pepper's, isn't there?
Exactly.
And you've got the what they call the Abbey Road medley, isn't there?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
There's
then
so many.
poor old Nick. There's plenty of songs being mentioned that he'd never heard of, and it would be nice to hear what folk are talking about. It would be lovely to be able to play a little clip of the transition from track A to track B or whatever. Unfortunately, you're going to have to go to Spotify or YouTube.
Yeah, we can send you a playlist, Nick, and you can listen to it in your lorry.
That's actually an idea. That's actually an
A
idea.
mixtape.
Yes.
A
mixtape of transitions.
Nick's favourite prog, yeah.
Poor old Andy. As an 80s indies kid, he doesn't know any of these albums. Is he missing out? Yes and no.
Possibly, but you had new wave punk, so you're not really missing out.
Nah.
Anyway, I'm really intrigued what Mike, because Mike has spoken to me about this little topic in the week, and he did sort of tell me what he was going to do, and I thought this could be interesting. So I think, Christopher,
hang on. Christopher has Ian. Christopher's asking, when's the best album of 2024 stream?
But there is my favourite albums of 2024.
The review will be the 27th of December.
Yeah,
Friday the 27th.
Yes.
Yeah. I think there'll be plenty of videos out there.
Yeah, someone got mixed up with what a vinyl tag.
That's the thing. That's the thing you do in December, isn't it?
Yeah, end of review.
And you do another thing in January. Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy didn't think so.
Yes, at least you're honest, Andy. So let's see what Mike's got for us, because this will be interesting.
Yes,
right.
I'm waiting to hear. Oh, I'm looking forward to this.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I was thinking about this, and then I thought, well, transitions don't really lend themselves very easily to, say, 70s punk. It's very much a prog thing. And I thought about some of the albums and some of the stuff that Michael's shown. I mean, Genesis and Yes, for instance, lend themselves, and then Wishbone Ashes, Argus. I mean, the tracks on both sides, they all neatly sort of like segue into each other, don't they?
Beautifully.
And it's a beautiful album, but and then I thought, and now especially as he's not feeling too well, I thought, well, it wouldn't be very fair on Nick, would it, to have a whole stream about prog? So I just decided that I just major on the word transition and forget about the segueing bit. And so I was thinking about my own record collection and my record collecting habits. And there are two very big sort of transitions. Transitions which I think, sort of like most people have been collecting records for as long as I have, would have gone through. The first one is the transition from vinyl records to CDs. And then the second one is, the point when you decided that you were going to transition back from CDs to vinyl. And I don't think there's a sort of like, there wasn't a sort of like a day or a year when I suddenly, got up in the morning and thought, you know what, I've had it with vinyl. I'm just going to buy CDs from now on. So there was that kind of gradual process, and I was looking through my CD collection, but I decided that there's one year in particular where I think I probably didn't buy any vinyl in that year, and it is also sort of kind of partly inspired by a thread that's going around at the moment, and I know that Richard S has done this thread, and it's CDs that you have where you don't have the record on vinyl also.
Mm-hmm.
So what I thought I'd do is I choose a year, and the year in question for my transition to CDs is 1992. And I just couldn't think of any records, any vinyl that I'd actually bought in 1992. Any 1992 vinyl I have is stuff that I bought sort of subsequently, sort of fairly recently. So start off with this one, third album from the Sugar Cubes, obviously with Björk on vocals. Stick Around for Joy. It's their third album from 1992, and I've never ever owned this on vinyl at all. And sort of, I mean, Björk herself, I mean, her debut album, I mean, that's if you don't count the first album that she released under her name, which was about sort of 10 years earlier. She was about 12 years old when she released her first album. And then there was the Sugar Cube stuff, and then the album Debut, which came out in 1993. And I don't have any Björk whatsoever. Well, I do have some Sugar Cubes on vinyl, but none of her solo stuff I have at all on vinyl. So that's the first one, that's Sugar Cubes. Mm-hmm. Then I think, Michael, you showed this CD a little while ago, and it's the fantastic White Room.
Yes.
And if I could get this on vinyl, I certainly would. I mean, there are some albums that you think, you really sort of deserve to have them on vinyl. But I mean, I don't know how much it would cost to get a vinyl version of this, and I don't think there've been a lot of sort of reissues going around. But the White Room, absolutely brilliant album, the KLF, and this sort of music was a real sort of departure for me. It wasn't what I'd consider to be my thing at the time, but I heard this, and yeah, absolutely brilliant album. That's The White Room by KLF. The third album is an album that probably everyone has, and that's REM's Automatic for the People.
Yeah.
Absolutely classic album. I mean, tracks on here, Sidewinder, Sleeps Tonight, Everybody Hurts, of course. Then you've got Man on the Moon, the song about the comic actor, Andy Kaufman. Because Andy Kaufman apparently was a keen Elvis impersonator, and he was also into professional wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's all sort of like, that's all sort of like in part of the lyrics. But Michael Stipe sort of blends in a sort of like memories of his own youth. So Mott the Hoople will get a mention in this. I think it's the first line of the song, in fact. And then, that's followed by Night Swimming, which is another absolutely brilliant track. And I listened to this afternoon, and it's the first time I'd listened to it for a very, very long time. And I'm glad I did. Right, fourth of the CDs, a band that I absolutely love. Good stuff by the mighty B-52s. Yeah, this was again, say 1992. I can't think what's on this actually. I can't read the writing. It's all in italics, and it's sort of written in brown on brown.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, but it's again, B-52s can do no wrong, as far as I'm concerned, and a CD, and I don't have the vinyl. And again, somebody, you know, I've loved for absolutely donkey's years, and it's Neil Young, and this is Harvest Moon. You know, allegedly a sort of follow-up to Harvest, but I can't quite see it myself. But it's a lovely album, and again, don't have it on vinyl. So that was my transition to vinyl in 1992, and then I was thinking, well, when did I actually go back? And it's a bit more fluid, I think, because, you know, again, looking at the albums that I have, that I bought albums in probably end of 2010. I bought a couple 2011, 2012, but I was certainly also buying CDs at the time. But these are albums that I don't have on CD, and they're all 2011, 2012. I'll start with let's have a look. The 2011 albums I'll start with, and this is the fantastic Mogwai, with the rather sort of threateningly titled "Hardcore Will Never Die, But You Will." And there it is. So you know, they're a sort of Scottish rock band, mainly instrumental stuff, and you see them live, and they're loud as hell. They really are. Possibly the loudest band I've ever seen. But there you go. Hardcore Will Never Die, but you will. The fantastic Mogwai, who've got a new album out in the new year that I'm looking forward to. Someone I really love, and that's Kurt Vile. This is Smoke Ring for My Halo. Again, someone I've seen live, and he's absolutely brilliant. And I just love his laid back style. It's very sort of understated. It's almost like he's just having a chat with you. You know, it's just fantastic stuff. And I mean the album, Whole Lot of Sea Lice that he did with Courtney Barnett is an absolutely wonderful album.
Yeah, I love that album.
Yeah. But this is there's a track list in there, so that's a lovely Kurt Vile. I've got 3 albums from 2012, and this is an album called Circles, and it's by a psych band, instrumental band called Moon Duo, and there's 2 of them, and it includes, and I can't think of his name now, but he's in the band Wooden Ships as well. And there you go. That's lovely. That's Moon Duo and Circles. Fantastic sort of fantastic psych band. A band that I didn't really get into when they were around originally, and it's very much the sort of, you know, the indie dance scene, which quite honestly I wasn't particularly into, and but now, you know, one of my favourites. This is the first album that I bought by Saint Etienne, completely on vinyl. I've been catching up ever since with the vinyl and the earlier albums, but this is Words of Music by Saint Etienne, and it's an absolutely wonderful album.
I don't know if they're on our list. You know, they've got to be.
Who? Mogwai.
Saint Etienne, you haven't got them. Wow, they've got a new album out next week.
Yeah, I've noticed they have.
Yeah. And then finally, Ripley Johnson, that's it. Yeah, he's the guitarist of Wooden Ships. Yeah, I couldn't think of his name. They're really good. I mean, Wooden Ships are a pretty good band as well, if you like sort of heavy psych sound. You know, very American.
What do you think? We've got the Paulie boy up, so I'll bring him up.
Oh, hello, mate.
Hello.
Yeah.
Let me from the deathbed.
How you doing? How you doing? I thought I'd save you from a bit of prog.
I thought I'd just say hello. I haven't sorted anything out,
No,
so,
it's just happy to see
No,
you.
that's all right.
but I can think of 3 albums, but I'll let Mike carry on.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell us about your reggae purchases at some point. I'm interested. Okay, so the final one, Parquet Courts, Light Up Gold. Again, album from 2012. They're an American sort of indie rock band. Pretty good. Yes, he's alive, Richard. Yeah. There we go. So that's it. That's my that's my take on transitions. To CDs and back against vinyl.
What would compel you to buy the vinyl for a CD that you already have? Would there be any reason if the if White Room came out tomorrow because I don't know if it was ever pressed on vinyl, but let's say it did exist, there would be nothing sonically for you to gain by buying it. You'd just be a completist action. And really, you have a limit. We all have limited budgets in terms of what we're going to spend. So it'll just say as it is, right?
Don't do this, Michael. I don't like to be confronted with these foibles of mine, But lots of people do it. I mean, I'm not totally wedded on the sort of idea of sort of like replacing my CD collection with vinyl, but I do pick stuff up. If I see stuff at record fairs, I will pick it up. I do like the actual, the actual idea of sort of, vinyl itself, the artwork and covers and everything. And I think, there's something a bit more sort of tactile about it, isn't there? That sort of you can, and you can read the sleeve notes as well.
Yeah,
especially
bigger text. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
So that's it. But in fact, sort of, I alluded to a thread that's going on, and it showed 10 CDs that you don't own on vinyl, and it was started by James Griffiths, and he talked about exactly that, about why buy sort of vinyl of CDs you already have. And, he said that he sort of, decided that he wasn't going to do that and then failed miserably. So there you go. We all do it, apart from you, maybe, Michael. Yeah. Anyway, that's my take on transitions. Anyway.
Excellent.
There's some very good ones there. Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Right. Yeah.
I got hand most of his transition picks were between individual tracks, but he also picked up Walter Carlos LP. That transition.
Yeah, I did toy with the idea of showing Wayne County, Jane County as a transition. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've all interpreted the transitions well tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we have to do something, don't we?
Yeah.
I could only think of 3.
Okay.
And I ain't got the energy to go through the boxes to pick them out.
Yeah. But what were you thinking of then, Nick?
There's the Jam, Dig the New Breed, which is a live album. It's what I've always called the Elephant in the Room album. Often dismissed by Jam fans. Oh, it's not a studio album, it's a live album, and it was released after they. But I've always considered it part of those studio albums. It opens up with the song "All Mod Cons." I mean, transitions or segues or whatever you want to. I always thought a segue is one of those two-wheeled things that kids and adults or whatever of a certain age whizzed around on. It kicks off with all mod cons, and then it goes straight into a song called "To Be Someone." To be someone must be a wonderful thing. A famous singer.
Yeah, I know that transition. It's really good because there are actually two tracks that shouldn't go together like they do, but played live, it just it's a smooth, and you go, wow, because it's in different keys for starters.
It's a good strong opening to a live, gig concert and a live album.
Yeah, I think that's a lot to do with the bass and drum, of course.
But on the studio album, All Mod Cons, there's a gap between those two songs. But like you say, it's two cracking songs and a good strong opening. I can't for the life of me remember if there's any other songs on that album that do the same thing, one of the other albums is, I've shown it many a time, Meteors live in Glasgow. Starts off with a rendition of Wipeout and goes immediately into a song of theirs called Crazy Maniac Rockers from Hell. Fast, furious, pacey, in your face stuff. Again, another great sort of opening to a live gig. It's something you expect from a band who are so good live, like the Meteors. Have we put live albums on Rocky's Wheel?
Yeah, but we never did one where the live album was new material only, or the only, like MC5, that was a live record. They never did it in the studio, so that's the only example. And there's probably other records where the band played it live in front of an audience, but you don't hear the audience background at all. But the fact of the matter is, it is new material live. Be a tough one.
Tom Waits did that with that double album where he wanted to create. I can't remember what it's my favourite album. It's gone out of my head at the moment, but he wanted to create a small jazz club atmosphere, and they've recorded it over 4 days, and they just got a few people to give it that. It's fantastic how that works.
Yeah. I mean, the Flaming Lips have got a couple of sort of fake live albums. They've got. I mean, one of the albums I think is live on the International Space Station. Yeah, and they just try and recreate a sort of live thing. Andy asked me a question, didn't he, about Mogwai? Yeah, I didn't know they were playing in Leeds actually, Andy. But if you go, mate, make sure that you get some ear protection because they really are extremely loud. And yes, I know about the new John album. It's a live album, isn't it? Live at Scala. And I got an email from post office today saying that my copy's arriving on Saturday, so I'm looking forward to that.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Going back to what Nick was saying about live album, so there's 2 tracks on Thin Lizzy's Thunder and Lightning that they're not. It's the Cowboys song, and then it goes into Don't Believe a Word. Very, very good. It just got this some live songs that they put together. But I mean, I've heard that what you say about Meteors, Nick. The first 2 tracks, I think, a gig are the most important too.
Yeah. You've got to grab the audience's attention.
No saying hello after the first track. You've got to bang straight in your second track.
Yeah,
you got to grab them and set the tone for the night.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Then you go hello wherever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then you
yeah.
cleaned it out on that magic tour. They opened up with one vision and went straight into Tie Your Mother Down.
Yeah.
And it just grabbed your attention.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's it, as you say. It sets a tone. And I was talking to Ben Rankins about the Australian punk band Saints, who are still going after all these years. And he went to see them in Melbourne recently, and he said they had a sort of fantastic opening. They started with their single "This Perfect Day," which is one of my top three all-time great sort of punk songs. And he said they started with that, and it was full throttle from there on. It was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I mean, live shows can be a disappointment, can't they? But
I think AC/DC got it right. They opened the show up with the first track on that album that they were, that were going out promoting, and the second track would always be from Back in Black, "Shoot the Thrill."
yeah.
You always have, what a thing. Play that very first track off the album because it's the one that everyone really knows off a brand new album, I think. That first track. And boom, in with "Shoot to Thrill." I mean, Iron Maiden are the same. They always open up with it like the opening track. And I think that just draws you in, doesn't it, straight away? Or classic, Status Quo, "Caroline." They once started opening it with "Whatever You Want." Didn't work.
No.
Yeah.
It was like that night we went to see ELO too.
Standing in the Rain.
Yeah.
You got to grab them by the balls and give them a damn good fucking squeeze, ain't you?
Yeah. Exactly. You've got to be telling everyone in the first 5 minutes that they can have a good time tonight.
And tell them to cough too. Don't forget to tell them to cough when you do
that. But the only other album I could think of, the greatest piece of music ever written by man, Quadrophenia, opens up with "I Am the Sea" and goes straight into "Can You See the Real Me?" Great opening for an album, great opening for a film. And at the end, it transitions into the last three tracks. And I can only remember the names of two. It ends with "Love Reign Over Me," but before then you got the Rock, it's called, one of those instrumental pieces which a lot of people hate and don't see the point of, but they're an integral part of that album. And it helps to understand the album and those songs if you know a bit about the culture, the mod culture, the scootering scene, the excitement of going away to the well, you call it the beach, Michael, wouldn't you? Or we call it the seaside. The excitement of going away and having a laugh and a joke and a drink and a damn good fucking punch up, That's what it's. That's what it's all about. That's what the music implies, and the heavies, the highs, and the lows, and the reality of it all.
Was the movie viewed as a success in Great Britain?
I think it was.
I think it was. Yeah.
It made the career for a few people, didn't it?
Yeah. It did. Yeah, I think it probably has more of a cult sort of following.
Yeah.
Have you never seen the film?
I have. I saw it a few years ago in Japan. I've seen the second time I've seen it, and I liked it better the second time. But leaving the theater, I could just tell that it left the other audiences outside the UK kind of scratching their head.
Yeah.
It's like I say, to understand it, it helps if, like I say, you know a bit about British culture,
right?
Yeah,
and I suppose in a way the youth scene, and like I mentioned, the mod scene, the scootering scene in general. Now, I was lucky; I got involved in a lot of all that sort of stuff back in '84 till around '87, '88, when I sort of gave it all up. I used to go charging around on a scooter and that with all my mates, and we went to a few seaside towns and saw the bands and the custom scooters and the girls and the drinking. I never took any erroneous objects. You know what I mean. I wasn't into drugs and all that.
yeah.
Never. I tried a joint once. Did fuck all for me. I'd have been better off going down the pub and getting pissed. I'd have had a better time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I know a bit about it, and I can sit there and I can imagine, and I can sort of understand what's going on.
Yeah. I mean that's right. It was you know, I mean it's kind of like heightened reality, isn't it?
Yeah.
The bit where there's all the trouble in Brighton.
Yeah.
Along the seafront, it's exaggerated, isn't it? For sort of like for cinematic.
Well, yeah.
But I think it gives a really good. It really does sort of like give you a good impression though of sort of like what those days were like.
Yeah, but there was bad blood.
Yeah.
But like you say, sort of hyped. Of course, it was hyped up a bit for the film, But
Yeah.
it did happen. I've been involved myself in punch-ups and fights at these sort of things. There's no denying it. It did happen. But again, the press, the papers, they hyped it all up.
Yeah.
Because it sells. It sells.
It does. It was sort of like I can't remember which year it was. It's probably about sort of 68, somewhere around sort of that time. And there'd been sort of like bank holiday punch-ups along sort of Brighton seafront, for a couple of years, and so the press were ready for it, and it was sort of unluckily for them, it was pissing down all weekend, so there was nobody about. But they kind of, but the press stories at the time was saying, oh, look, the beaches were empty because, all the sort of decent people were scared off by the Muslim rockers. But in fact, who wants to go and sit on the beach when it's pouring with rain?
Right.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah.
And then when all that ended,
yeah,
the press had nothing to sensationalise, and they moved on to the skinheads.
Yeah. I mean the whole skinhead thing, but they gave the impression that sort of all skinheads were sort of like were racist basically.
No, that's
sort of like working class sort of youth were a bunch of racists. That was the sort of impression that the press liked.
Yeah, that's bollocks. Proper skinheads aren't racist at all.
No,
I'll
I
defend
know that because they back in the 80s there was we were having a do at the King Billy as a charity thing for someone that had got cancer, and a load of skinheads were coming outside, and we thought, oh god. And one of them came in and said to one of the bikers on the door, he says, we're not here to cause fight, we want to come and support the event.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
They came in. There was some music going. He said they've come in. They want to support them. They want to know if they can come and support the event. And we went, "Whee!" And they all come in, and there was a band on. It was a rock band. They were up enjoying themselves and rocking away with the rest of us. They hadn't got any air, but they were headbanging, and it was terrific. And when the band had finished, we all went round to the Loopers clubhouse, even the Skinheads, and it carried on there. And they were such a nice bunch. And when people say to me skin, like you say, they weren't. And, the genuine Skinheads were the nicest and the most generous people you could think of. And when I had events, one of the guys, they would come up and they would take part and they would raise money and present a check to you. They were that nice people. Now, going back to in Brighton, I used to work with a guy who was a police officer in Brighton at that time. And he told me, he says, the same thing. He said it was a cold, typical wet weekend, bank holiday weekend at the seaside.
Yeah. I think if you want to get a really good idea of what skinhead culture was all about, you should watch Don Lepp's documentary about it.
Yes,
absolutely brilliant. And he addresses the whole sort of racism thing about how, fascists like the National Front, tried to sort of capitalize on, the sort of groups of sort of like working class youth, but skinhead culture was about the music and fashion, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. I don't mean Nickel relate to this, but when we was in our teens, you could be mods, you could be rockers, you could be new wave, you could be skinheads, two tones. There were so many different when we were teenagers, weren't there, Nick? It was, and you just fitted into your own little thing.
Yeah.
It was, and I think people don't get that. There was there were mod revival when I was 16 odd. They would come and try. They wanted to try and come and beat the rockers up like they did in the old days.
Yeah.
Because they were mods and we were rockers. There was nothing to do that. We went to the same school.
well, that's it. That's exactly it, isn't it? And the whole thing about sort of different genres of music and the sort of the media want to give the impression that sort of because you like different music, you're at each other's throats all the time.
Yeah, it's like punks. They love Motorhead.
Well, I always thought that Motorhead were a punk band in spirit.
Early Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
a lot of
AC/DC.
Yeah, they used to get the punks used to go and watch when Paul Di'Anno was lead singer. They had quite a large punk following.
Yeah,
and like the rockers, they know that when you say, "Well, I like the Jam," yeah, but you're a Grebo, No, I like the Jam as well,
Yeah.
What do you like the Jammers? Is because they're blooming heavy. That's why.
Yeah, it's music, isn't it?
Did you say Greenboat?
Grebo.
Yeah.
What is that?
A long-haired lout that wore denim and wore Petuna oil.
A hippie.
No, not a hippie. So, but I suppose some called Grease as well, weren't they, before?
Yeah, but we were Grebo, so we were none of us were. Yeah. We were the most cleanest Grebos you could find. Our hair was immaculate. We had long hair. We all smelled good, and we used to wear clean clothes.
Yeah, greaser.
Yeah. In a slightly earlier age, that's what they would have been, wouldn't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the bow? Where's the bow coming?
I don't know where that come from. I think it's something a mixture of a grease boy or something, Grebo.
Okay.
Yeah. So that they were the only albums with transitions in I could think of.
No, there's some good ones there. Even though yes, I told you wasn't well. That's what's on Spike Milligan's.
Yeah, Spike Milligan's tombstone.
Yeah.
I think John the Measure's got a weird one as well, hasn't he? I've conked out or something.
All right.
Oh, there's another. Hasn't Spike Milligan got something in Gaelic that's quite rude?
I don't know.
I don't know.
No, I don't know about that. Possibly.
Anyway, while that's its thing, I'm gonna bring up Rocky's Wheel.
Okay.
Right.
Hopefully, we'll get something a little bit more friendly.
Is this the last wheel before Christmas? Because we've got the special.
Yeah, we got the last stream before Christmas. We got our version of "Would I Lie to You" sort of thing. What?
Ah.
So
before you do that,
Yes.
Spike's headstone. He's got 2 pieces, as you say. I told you I was ill, but he's also got a Gaelic translation of "I told you I was ill" and another piece, "Love Like Peace," the additional epitaph, Dramor or Sheila. It can be read as "Great love for you, Sheila."
All right.
So, there you go.
So, okay, what have we got on there? Well, we've got some that have been there a little while. We've got corkers and clunkers, jacket
That's been there
covers,
since the beginning.
yeah, breakup songs, Jack Frost, To Be or Not to Be, instruments, and there is one new one, and it's called Grubs Up.
Right.
Now, do you know what Grubs Up means, Michael?
Unfortunately, I don't, Ian.
Dinner's ready.
Yeah, don't tell him, Pike.
Yeah. So let's see what Rocky wants us to go and find records.
Okay.
Or, as our new trend is, a PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, great on.
No.
Okay.
How many times does the one that goes on the wheel comes up first?
Never.
Grubs Up. Now we've done songs we're drinking.
Yes.
So why not do songs titles that mentions any food, like bananas or chocolate or anything that's got food in the title or a lyric in the song.
How about on the jacket cover?
On the jacket cover,
Yeah.
I know you guys come up with some great ideas. So I think, as I say, use your imagination, chaps.
Okay.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Something that mentions food.
somewhere in the line, and I've thought of 3 already. That's what I like. Anyway, it's that time of night to show Pepper, and if Nick's not very, unless Nick's got something to hand.
I've got my point pot.
Now that'll
Yeah.
do. I'm going to show you this because it doesn't get much show anywhere.
No, and for good reason. For good reason.
Yeah.
Good reason.
3.
It's called Pepper. Crap.
There you go. 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much for people for watching. Lovely to see Nick, even though he's a
Yeah. I remember seeing and hearing that.
Yeah.
Spike Milligan, a record load of rubbish. He did a lot for sick kids.
Yes. So we'll all be back next week. Hopefully Nick will be in fine fettle and feeling a lot better. Don't forget to watch the draw on Monday. It'll go up around 5 p.m. British time, I hope. He's hoping.
Right.
So,
Anyway.
yeah. Hello, Lisa, and bye, Lisa. We're going home now. Thank you for coming in.
Wait.
It's always...
We did. Thank you, Lisa.
We did. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you very much. So bye for now, folks.
Ta-ra.
Bye.
Take it easy.
Bye.